Hey kids, it's Rick Elkin. Are we having fun yet? Glad to have you back. I've got something I want to send your way today. I do another of my uh, binge watchers movie reviews. I call it Twisted Binge Watchers Movie Reviews because I put something on it that you're not going to get from anybody else. I give it a little bit of a twist, and hopefully that'll make it a little more interesting for you when you take advantage of the opportunity to watch the show. Um, but this one's actually not about a movie at all. It's about a TV series, and the series they actually made 100 of them, so you can feed your appetite, your insatiable appetite for video viewing for pretty much the rest of this spring and all summer. I don't think you're going to be able to plow through these too quickly. It's an hour-long show. Um, and the reason I'm bringing this into your attention is because I've noticed I don't know, maybe you've noticed there seems to be a trend lately in the media to label um, millions of Americans as extremists, science deniers, religious zealots, and even lately terrorists. People like me are now considered living on the fringe. Imagine that. I always thought of myself as sort of a everyday Joe. Um, but anyway, as I thought about how ironic all of that sounds, I seem to remember a TV show not too many years ago that ran on Fox, and it it ran for I think between 2008 and 2013. Um, it was called Fringe, and it was conceived and written for the most part and directed, not all of them, but many of the different episodes by J.J. Abrams. Now you might remember J.J. Abrams was pretty famous for the TV show Lost, which became kind of an iconic, uh, I don't know, new style TV show, a lot of which now is being copied, and also well respected director of Star Wars. I think it was series 7. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so I don't really remember, but the people who are will remember J.J. Abrams' particular episodes. Anyway, this Fringe TV show actually won, I think, 3 primetime Emmys and was nominated for 84 different awards. So it's high quality, some interesting actors, and I think the content, though, is what I found really kind of interesting in light of what we're going through in our world today. I would have to say, now that I've gone back and revisited this show, it might have been a little bit ahead of its time. The show revolves around the FBI, some special uh, prosecutors in the FBI working very closely with a mad scientist who had been discredited, but they found that he seemed to have some insight into particularly unusual crimes that on first glance seemed completely disconnected, but upon closer scrutiny, he finds very interesting and maybe we could call it metaphysical connections. And so anyway, this guy's his name is Walter, and he works with all kinds of crazy chemicals and electronics and stuff that most people would consider wacky science. And in the series, the bad guys are represented by a big superpower corporation called uh, Massive Dynamics. And you could kind of draw a parallel between them and some of the big corporations that are, in my mind, sort of running the world right now. I'll get into that in a minute. But the euphemism for massive dynamics was MD, which kind of gives you this image in your mind of a neighborhood doctor that goes door to door and shows up with a little black briefcase and whips out his voodoo medicine and pretty much saves the world. So today we have these powerful groups like the World Health Organization, AstraZeneca, Moderna, um, and they represent themselves as the authorities on saving the human race from worldwide pandemics. Um, you know, all these different solutions that they're offering to help us not destroy ourselves. Anyway, part of the series is the CIA and the FBI um, working not only towards solutions of these problems, but actually involved in many of them. Sound familiar? Uh, so I think modern news and what we're seeing right now in the news is that a lot of the what do you call it, the intelligence agencies in the U.S. and around the world have become integral sort of codependents with big pharma and big science and big high tech corporations. Um, they're all kind of working towards keeping the animals on the farm happy. So anyway, I thought revisiting this program in light of some of the recent revelations that we've been seeing in the news would be entertaining, and I found it to be really much more so than when it was out originally. I can't remember that I really got too involved in it back then, but I have to tell you right now, found it pretty. It when you see what these mega rich high tech puppet masters are doing, and then you watch this TV show, some of the goofy plots actually make a lot more sense now than they did 8 years ago. So, and there's a couple other things I want to mention. I think you'll find interesting to make it a little bit more fun for you to watch. And that, um, J.J. Abrams was a student of Alfred Hitchcock, and Alfred Hitchcock had a unique kind of a habit of injecting himself into his movies. In every Alfred Hitchcock movie, there would be a very brief scene of him appearing, usually something really unimportant. He'd walk through a scene, or he would be a cab driver or something like that. But it was a trademark of his, and Abrams likes to do some similar things and sort of tributes to himself. So when you see, there's a lot of instances where there are black ops SUVs, and if you look real closely, you'll notice on some of them that the vanity license plates say R2D2 or C3PO in reference to his robots in his Star Wars days. Um, and Abrams also kind of looks at himself as somewhat prophetic. And so he likes to put things in his movies or his TV shows that he thinks may come back later or may reflect on something that's happened in the past. And so if you notice, you have to look very carefully, but they shoot a lot of the scenes in Walter the Mad Scientist's office. And in one scene on the wall is a map of the United States. You'd have to look very closely, but you'll notice that the left portion of California is not there. So I don't know what he was trying to say there or what time frame he was thinking about, but apparently J.J. Abrams thinks the coastline of California is going to change dramatically in the not too distant future. And also in the same set, the mad scientist Walter's office, the camera captures a framed picture sitting on his desk. And in that picture is a gray haired, elderly John F. Kennedy. So, does that mean that JFK is still alive? Anyway, that's something you might look for if you decide to check out this series. I think you'll find it kind of fun. One last thing is there's a scene where one of the principals gets sent into the future in a different universe. And then later she gets pulled back into current reality. She has a hard time adjusting to this, and so they send her to a psychotherapist. And while she's being interviewed with the psychotherapist and he's trying to help her figure out how to readjust to reality, you can hear Stevie Winwood's classic rock song, Can't Find My Way Home, playing in the background. Anyway, this whole series is pretty twisted and prescient, and I think you'll find it really fun entertainment. You can find it on IMDb TV if you sign up for an account, or on Prime Video. I'm Rick Elkin. Go to my website, rickelkin.com, and let me know what you think. Thanks for stopping in. I'll catch you later.